Hello and welcome to the Kick in the Creatives podcast, hosted by myself, Sandra Busby, and my fellow creative Tara Roskell, offering you interviews, inspiration, motivation, and a gentle prod in the right direction. And for lots more information, challenges, and other useful tools to help you get creating, you can go to www.kickinthecreatives.com. And of course, this is where you can also find today's show notes. Enjoy the show. Welcome to today's episode where we list 32 ways to share your art. And it was actually originally 31 ways to share your art, but I squeezed another one in. I don't know if you noticed that, Tara.
I might have actually squeezed another one in as well. So it might be
let's call it
plus bonuses.
Yeah, 30-something ways to share your art. We've lost count. Yeah. But anyway, before we get onto that, we want to say a big thank you to all of our Ko-fi supporters because it really does help us to keep this podcast going. It's always lovely when we get a little tinkle on our email saying somebody else has bought us a coffee, isn't it, Tara?
It's lovely. Yeah, we really appreciate the support because not only does it help us towards the cost of running Kick in the Creatives, which lets us keep doing what we do, it also shows that you like what we're doing as well. So thank you very much for that.
And we also want to say thanks to everyone who's been sharing their work for the challenges with us on social media. And I have to say, Tara, you've been away, haven't you, on holiday? And we normally share the load of social media. And oh my goodness, when you were away, I was like, oh my God, I must have been on social media for hours every day trying to keep it up with it all. But it's always lovely to see so many people getting involved with all the challenges. So, but before I say what's caught my eye, just got a quick message, actually, for a couple of recent newbie members to the group, Susan C. and Jane Johnson. And I do know, I think Susan definitely listens because she mentioned it when she joined. If you're listening, you did say, yes, please, to be signed up to the newsletter when you answered the group questions, but you actually forgot to leave your email address. So if you do want to be signed up to the newsletter, you can just pop over to the website and sign up that way. What's caught my eye? So I don't know if it's Elise or Elsie Hubbard. Sorry, I'm not quite sure. She did a fantastic version of the Face-tastic Friday last week. It was so colourful. And I've noticed a few people seem to be getting quite imaginative with those faces, don't they? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, just some really quirky ones.
Yeah, everyone's doing such different styles. It's brilliant. Heather Lynn Baskin, she's been doing the Tonal June challenge and she's working digitally. I was actually really surprised with a recent one she did of those, those useless wooden jointed drawing mannequins you could get.
Oh, yes, yeah.
She did one of that. She drew one of those and it was kind of sitting on a glass and sort of partially behind a glass. And what was surprising is she said she wasn't particularly happy with it, but I thought it was amazing. And I paint a lot of glass. So I think you need to take my word for it, Heather, that it was really good. So I don't know what you're on about. Roving J, well, I'm practically stalking Roving J now. I really am. She's doing the Kick 365 challenge. She's doing a ton of urban sketching and I've always liked her stuff. It's just getting better and better all the time. Got loads today. Actually, I haven't nicked any of yours. Emma Miller, she's been doing the 50 ways to draw a face challenge and she's been focusing on Marilyn Monroe, unmistakable by that beauty spot of hers. That's been really cool to see. And one more, Matthew G. Ashbrook. He's also doing the Kick 365 challenge and he's concentrating on hands at the moment and they're getting better and better all the time. So it goes to show, by practicing every day, you're just going to get better and better. So let me take a breath. What about you, Tara? What's caught your eye?
So it's unusual for you to take one of those. So anyway, I've got to be honest and say that I've been a bit lax because I have been away. So I've been doing a little bit of catching up, but I have loved some Face-tastic Fridays. Sana Sira, especially, she did one of the old man dancing with the headphones on. You know that picture?
Yeah.
And she's done it with these really loose lines. And then I don't know if it's watercolour or something she's added on top, but I absolutely love that one. And another Face-tastic Friday was done by Prickly Witch, who's actually Joanna Brown. And she did the young girl, I think the week before, there's a young girl with blind contour and watercolour. Now, Jo is an absolute genius with blind contour. So that was incredible. But also, nothing to do with the challenges, but Jo Brown is also doing the most amazing watercolours. I don't know if you've seen these.
I love her stuff. I always forget that she's Prickly Witch.
Yeah, on Instagram, she's been doing these watercolours following somebody's tutorial. I can't remember the name, but it's called something direct watercolour, and it's almost like she's using different implements to lay down the watercolour. But they're not one of our challenges, but they're incredible as well. But anyway, what is new with you?
Well, drum roll. I did think I was going to be going to London tomorrow to pick up my painting that I submitted to the Mall Gallery, or the Mall Gallery, in London for the summer exhibition. Do you remember, I don't know if anyone listened to the last episode, but it was pre-selected, and the date to collect the paintings that were not selected for the final exhibition, they're meant to be getting picked up tomorrow. So I practically had booked my train ticket.
No, you hadn't.
I had. I thought
never in doubt.
I kept this Thursday free. I was like, no, I'm going to be going to London anyway. I found out. The day was it? When did I text you, Tara? Was it yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday or the day before. I can't remember which.
Well, I found out basically that it made the final selection, so it got in. I was absolutely gobsmacked, actually, because I really did not expect that. I was just absolutely made up with the fact that I'd got pre-selected. So to actually be selected for the final mix in that exhibition, I was blown away. So yeah, that's my biggest news. So I'm really excited.
I knew you were going to go in there, and now you should be more confident, especially if they pre-selected you. They're only not going to pick that painting if you paint really badly, aren't they?
I guess,
and you paint really well.
I think it's perhaps they sort of pre-select over the internet, and then I suppose sometimes paintings look different online, don't they, than when you get it face to face. And actually, I know that quite a lot of my darker ones look better in the flesh because you haven't got that sort of blue glare that you get when you try and photograph one of those paintings. So, but yeah, I was really nervous about it because I had to sort of bespoke frame it and everything and they did say, a frame can make or break a painting. So if it's badly framed or the frame we don't feel is right, that can be the difference between you getting in and not, and all the rest of it. So yeah, I was really nervous about it.
So do they sell the paintings as well?
Yeah, they put them up for sale. You have to put a price on, and of course
I hope you put a good price on.
Well, I didn't want to. You see, the thing is, obviously they will probably take I know they take a big chunk, and obviously they're going to, aren't they? But so I just the figure I was happy to get myself, and then I added their junk there, their junk on top. Of course, then I forgot about putting the frame on, which cost me quite a bit.
No.
So I hadn't taken that into account. So whoever buys that, if it sells, is going to get a bargain. Let's put it like that. But and if it doesn't sell, I will put it up on my website. And
superb.
Yeah, so really, really great. I'm really happy about that. What else? Oh, I've just started just started actually about a week ago. I started my fried egg commission. So the underpainting is done, and now I'm working on the mid layers. And this is the stage. This is the one part of painting which I always struggle with. It's not struggling as in I don't know what to do. It's just I struggle at looking at it because the underpainting I always love, when you just lay down the shadows and the lights and you're like, oh, this is really going to work.
Yeah.
And the mid layers are very flat, and I find that really hard, and I always find it hard to believe that it's going to be any good at the end. And this is why I've got this great big poster up on my wall of, the posters we did, Tara, for when we did the Adobe Max talk.
Yeah.
I've put that on my wall to remind myself, don't be silly, Sandra. You've done it before. All of these paintings started this way, and it will be fine. But yeah, it's at that horrible flat sort of cartoony stage at the moment, which I don't like, and it's the dangerous stage for me where I start procrastinating because I think I don't want to see it, I don't want to look at it. Oh, I can't bear it. So it's at that stage, and I'm looking forward to when I finish this mid layer, so I can then start bringing it to life a little bit. But Yeah, so I've started that, and who else is back on the scene in my life, Tara? Have you noticed?
No.
Felicity Fizz.
Oh yes, I have seen Felicity.
Yeah, she's been doing her thing on Instagram again. Do you know what? I kind of miss the freedom of just doing something really silly and not caring if it's, it doesn't matter if it's a good drawing or it's just fun and it's a cartoon. So I've been doing a few of her again. I've been really enjoying it, actually. Just it's kind of light relief, I think, from everything else. So yeah, she's been doing a couple of posts. I'm kind of going to aim for 1 or 2 posts a week. So yeah. Anyway, what about you, Tara? What is new with you?
Well, not very much because I've been away for a really relaxing holiday.
You got a tan. You got a lovely tan.
Not really. I did actually put my 3/4 trousers on one day, so I did actually expose a little bit of ankle.
Oh,
I know, and a little bit below the knee. But no, so it was absolutely lovely. It was the first time the dog had ever been to the sea, so that was really fun.
Oh, he was in his element, wasn't he?
He totally loved it. So that was brilliant. But I took a sketchbook with me and I didn't pick it up at all.
No.
The only thing I did do, I messed about I took my iPad because I thought, I'm going to have a mess about with some digital drawing because a lot of the NFT artists did. And I thought, I'm going to just try it again.
Yeah.
So I think one day I actually picked that up and started, I thought, I wonder if I can actually recreate the look of my faces, but in digital. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try and get that effect. I didn't like it at all.
Oh, well, I can't imagine it'd be as much fun because I think half the fun of drawing is when you don't have that undo button, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it didn't get me. I get a kind of rush because the way I create, it's not precise. So I don't really know what it's going to look like in the end.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really get that. I couldn't get that. You could smudge things. It just didn't work the same for me. So, it would have been quite interesting because I thought, would be interesting to see if I like doing this. But no, didn't really do it.
No.
But so on a totally another thing, you remember I was telling you last time that I was hoping to have some of my art in the New York event.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you saw on social media.
I saw somebody shared it on a screen in New York.
Yeah, I was so grateful to her because she messaged me and she'd actually took a little video, but because it's in a video in Twitter, I just took a screenshot of it. She was going to send it me. I think she's forgotten. So yeah, I just took a screenshot of it and it's like, oh wow, there were massive screens.
So now you can even say, I have been exhibited in New York.
I know. So that was so good. God,
it's amazing. Oh yeah, that was so chuffed when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, that is just so cool. I meant to ask you about that earlier. I forgot.
And I didn't even know that one was going to be shown there because basically everybody submitted art. Well, everybody wanted to submitted art to these events. And they said that they couldn't promise it'd be shown on the big screens. Everything would be on the virtual one.
Yeah.
But they couldn't promise everybody on the big screen. But mine obviously was. So I was really chuffed.
How many of yours were?
I don't know.
Do you know what? We're just going to have to hop over to New York, Tara, and have a little look.
I'm scared of flying, but
some things are worth flying for.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
I'll shut up now.
Well, no, it actually leads quite well onto what we're talking about today, really, doesn't it? About,
Yeah, do you know what? You've actually written most of this one, so I'm going to give you all the credit for this one like you did me for the last one. But what I thought was funny is you've done the same thing that we do. We tend to do things that somehow relate to something we're going through or we're thinking about.
Yeah.
So this is to give us ideas of what to do for our social media.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So, we're going to give you 30-something ideas. Was 31, now we just have no idea. But 30-something ideas of how to share your art because, it's not always easy, is it? To find new ways to share things without being repetitive, especially for someone like me who does oil paintings and things like that, because it takes a while to do a painting. So do you know what I mean? So it's quite difficult to think of new ways to do it. But you don't always just have to share your physical art. That's the thing I had to get my head around. There are a lot of different ways you can engage your audience without just showing that piece of art. Because I think one of the things I used to worry about is people getting bored of seeing the same thing, and also losing out on that kind of ta-da moment where you kind of go, oh, ta-da, here it is. And everyone's going, oh, wow, I love it. Because if you've already showed it in every single stage of its painting, it kind of like takes that bit away. So I think it's nice to kind of think, hang on, how can I engage my audience without necessarily even having to show my art? But one really good place to start is to actually ask your followers for suggestions of what to draw or paint next. And I've seen people do this before, and I think, what a great idea, because people love, don't they, to feel like they're kind of part of the process. So allowing them to get involved in some way, that's a really good way of engaging with your audience. And another thing you can do is you can share, where you find your inspiration. So, for example, I did, I can't remember how long ago it was, was it before I started my crushed Coke can painting, or when I was painting it? I can't remember. But I made a short video of me basically holding this crushed Coke can that I'd almost thrown in the bin. And just talking about the fact that as I threw it in the bin, I realised actually, maybe that might make a nice painting. Be imaginative. I could perhaps share myself polishing off a bottle of wine for research purposes. People love all that stuff, don't they? It doesn't have to be just that, because I always used to think, if I have my Instagram page, it just means I've got to take a full frontal shot of my frontal. Oh my gosh! Imagine the followers.
You'd lose. Yeah.
Thanks. A full frontal shot of, you know what I mean, a square on shot of your painting when it's done, and then that's it, and then the next one, and that's, I suppose, what I used to think. But actually,
do you know what would have been great? Actually, you remember when you did that painting where the wine poured over the grass and it kind of missed with the fireplace, and you did it at the pub. Now, what you should have done is, while that was being set up, got someone else to video.
Yes.
Because that would have just been so good.
It really would. It really would. And it's thinking outside the box like that. It's thinking about how you share the process from that moment. And funny enough, that painting, I had never set out to do that. What happened is we went to the pub. There was this beautiful roaring fire, and somebody else in the table near the fire had this glass of red wine, and I just saw it all flickering, and I was thinking, oh God, that would make a lovely photograph. But I felt like I couldn't go over to the couple and say, actually, could you just move out of the way, please? Oh, I want to take a picture of your wine in front of that fire. And it was only when they went, these people had gone, and I said, do you know what? I really, really want to catch like something being poured into the glass. And what was brilliant about it was the barmaid who worked there at the time. She was a part-time photographer. And I was saying to her, do you mind if I just want to take some photographs of me pouring some wine. But of course, trying to pour wine into a glass from a height is actually really hard to get it in the glass. And my actual intention was to get the wine flowing into the glass, but I kept missing. It kept going absolutely everywhere.
Is it on the floor?
No, on the table.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Luckily they don't have a carpet or anything, and they know us really well. So
yeah.
Anyway, so she was helping me get the right shot, and in the end, we got some gorgeous shots of the wine going into the glass. But the one I ended up going for was the one where it missed completely. So that's how that one came about. But you're so right. If only I'd have thought about it back then, because I wasn't really big into Instagram back then at all.
And I think what you could have done with that wouldn't have been one shot either.
No.
You could have made the video where you're actually pouring it. You could make the video where it went wrong and all the things like that. You could do some few photographs. You could pull back and show the whole bar. So you could have made that into like a week's worth.
Yeah.
Of posts, couldn't you?
Yeah, really. Because the secret to Instagram, I think, is actually posting sort of on a daily basis, really, isn't it? And that, like you say, would have been a week.
And I think repeating, because like you were saying, you worry about boring people. But I think you got to remember that half the time people don't see it. So you'll only see a percentage of the people you're following's work. You won't see it all. So if you post something that's a bit similar, like several days, chances are the same person isn't going to see it anyway.
Yeah, Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So as well as photographing your setup, you could photograph your workspace. Now, that could be a distant view. I don't think you want to do mine at the moment. It's a tip. But
Well,
you
I only saw a square inch of it today and it was covered in dust.
It was, yeah. That was my office desk. Or you could focus in on some of the materials in your workspace. So you could go a little bit closer and maybe show your canvas and, a bit of your easel or whatever you work on. Another idea is to photograph or video yourself working on your art. Or failing that, if you don't actually want to be working on you could photograph yourself near your art. So on those nice smiley faces as you turn around and say, ta-da! Like you're saying.
Yeah. Put your lippy on. Put a bit of lippy on.
Yeah. And you could do that also as an over-the-shoulder sort of type of view, couldn't you? So if you didn't want to show your face, you could make it so it's you from the back almost.
Well, like me when I wiggled my bum in front of my bum painting.
Exactly. But I was just going to say, a person you should look at on Instagram who's absolutely brilliant at doing videos of herself with her work is Carmel Jenkins.
I know, isn't she just?
Just fantastic. She's kind of funny, and then she's got this lovely work, and she manages to set. I mean, she looks like she's a photographer the way she sets stuff up, doesn't she?
Well, also she's young and beautiful.
Yeah, that does help.
But that's the thing, isn't it? When you're like middle-aged.
Yeah.
I had to wiggle my bum, and I had to think, right, if when I do this, I've got to kind of clench.
Did you tape it up with masking tape or something?
Otherwise, it's going to be wibbly wobbling all over the place.
Yeah. And another thing is, like, if you're like me, when you're wearing your funny tracky bottoms and your fleece and your chewed up trainers, it doesn't look so good as she does either, does it?
I've kind of realised that actually, when you get to 50, actually, I am nearly 50. I'm nearly 50.
What? No, you're not. You're over 50.
No, I'm not. I'm nearly 50.
No, you're not.
How old am I?
You're about 51 now.
Exactly. So that's very close to 50. But anyway, so I have got to the point now where you're like, when we used to make videos, didn't we, Tara? We're both like, oh my God, look at my neck, look at my jaw. Do you remember that time when we started taping ourselves up with masking tape for fun?
Yeah.
Somewhere there's a video of us putting masking tape all over our face.
I don't think we put that out. That was just us messing about. No.
I think you just have to think, do you know what? We were once young and beautiful, but it's fine.
I don't think I was ever young and beautiful. I might have been young.
Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
I just wanted to talk about another person as well to look at on Instagram, and that is Andrea Earhart. We actually had her on the podcast, episode 86. Now, she is an absolute mastermind at social media.
Yeah.
And a tip she once gave is to photograph yourself in front of a very plain background, holding a bit of your art, or if it's big, putting yourself next to your art. And you can batch them. So don't just hold one picture, stand there and hold it in all different ways and different faces and all stuff like that. And you can also, if you're a bit of a dab hand in Photoshop or any sort of photo manipulating thing, you can hold a blank canvas and then just drop the painting on. And that way you've always got a kind of something that you can drop with you in it and your painting in it.
Yeah, you did that. That was so clever. I've seen a lot of really clever stuff and how to, it's that the problem is the time is learning how to do those things, isn't it?
Oh, yes, you've got to be able to drop the thing in. But you wouldn't have to if you just, say you'd got 10 paintings done. You could just photograph yourself holding 10 different paintings. Just do it all the same time. Batch do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's such a good idea. That really is a real good idea. Okay, so you could show a close-up detail of your work on social media and ask your audience to guess what it is. I love that, don't you? I love it when people put things like that because I love guessing. Or you could create a short close-up video of you painting a really small area. That's something I did with my peach when I was painting my peachy bum. There was a tiny section of the peach that I was painting.
I missed that one.
Oh, I just zoomed. It was a reel, I think, and I just zoomed in on it and said, I don't know if I asked people to guess what it was. I can't remember, but yeah, it was cool because it didn't show the whole thing, so it wasn't really giving people much of an idea of what the whole thing was going to look like. But it just still allowed me to post something and get people did, and people love guessing games. And again, it's a great way of getting your followers to engage with you and sort of like have a bit of an input. And you could also show your work in progress. I mean, I do this a fair bit on my Instagram. I'm not doing that so much with my commission. I always feel with commissions, because the thing is as well, he doesn't really, I don't think he wants to see it. He wants that ta-da moment,
Right, yeah.
And so I can't exactly, not show him and then show the rest of, Instagram. So I'm not really able to show any progress of that. And of course, that's
Did you
hard.
show setting up the shot though? That you could have used afterwards, with his permission. Did you show setting up the fried egg shot?
Do you know how embarrassing it would have been to show how many burnt eggs I got through? And
no, but that's part of the fun of it. That's what's fun.
Yeah, I should have done, really, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that. Yeah, see, again, that's just all ideas, isn't it? And sometimes you think a bit late, but that's quite a good idea, to, I guess, have a little bit of a notebook where you can write these ideas down if you miss one. You think, oh, right, next time I'm going to look back on this and think, oh, yeah, I'll do that this time.
Well, that's an idea I was going to mention at the end, is like to have someone suggested, I think his name is Sergio Gomez. He's on Instagram as well. He suggested having a calendar, but he didn't mean a calendar as in Monday I'm posting this picture of a face, Tuesday I'm posting a tree. What he meant was, okay, so Monday I'm always going to post a setup shot where I'm setting up my artwork.
Yeah.
Tuesday I'm always going to post a picture of me and my art. Wednesday, I'm going to post a time lapse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but he said the good thing about that is you don't have to think so much, because you know what Monday is, you know what Tuesday is.
Yeah, yeah.
So it narrows down what you have to actually think about. But I think, you should always video yourself or photograph yourself setting up, because I think that'd be really interesting for people. Well, for me, I'd watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I always find as well with my Instagram, because I'm a realism painter generally, should I be putting sketching in the mix and all that as well? Because are people following me for one thing and then I'm giving them something else? That's the thing. So this is where you can change it to stories. I mean, I could just do stories and reels on my sketching and the things I do for fun, and save the main posts for my, my realism work.
Yeah, yeah.
And do it that way.
So another idea is to share secrets or tips about your process. So, for instance, I like to use kiddie sponge brushes. And if I didn't show my time lapses, people probably wouldn't know that. But I could make a big thing about the materials I use, because it's not the most usual. I could also show that I make the backgrounds of my faces using the top of a ink dropper bottle. And again, that's probably not the most usual way to work. So anything that's a little bit different. Do you have any secrets or tips about your process?
Secrets?
Yeah.
Not really. No, I don't think so. Tips? Yeah, I'll have plenty of tips.
Yeah.
About secrets, but
yeah, I mean, you got that good tip, didn't you, about making how you made the thing you put all your paints on?
Oh yeah,
haven't you?
Yeah. That's more like studio tips, I guess.
Yeah. I suppose more than process tips.
Yeah, about how I store my paints, that kind of thing. So that's another good idea, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. You could also share problems you experience and how you solve them. Now, I didn't know Sandra wrote this one. Sandra wrote all of them. So perhaps you can explain what your problems might be.
So I'm trying to think. It could be that my brushes have gone rock hard because I've accidentally left them unwashed after painting for a week. So I could think, okay, how am I going to get this? Because brushes are expensive. How am I going to get around this problem? And I do have a tip for that, actually. And I use apparently it works for acrylic as well. I don't know. I've not tried it with acrylics. And in fact, I think I shared this tip. Was it General
Murphy's soap?
Yes, Murphy's oil soap. I shared that tip, and we did an episode way back, didn't we, called General Art Tips, and it was one of the tips I shared in that episode. And basically, you put your Murphy's oil soap, and then you lay your brushes in it, and you lay them in it for 48 hours or so, and every now and then just massage it. And it gets it out. It's amazing. And that's dry oil paint. It's incredible. So that sort of thing. Yes. How did I solve my rock hard brushes? So yeah, that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Anyway, while you've got a piece of work on the go, you can also take an opportunity to talk about your favorite materials. So maybe, instead of having to set something up thinking I'm going to do a demonstration for Instagram or I'm going to talk about my favorite materials, you might as well use that time when you're actually already on a painting and take those little snippets of time and opportunity where you're using that material to make little videos. Do you know what I mean? So if you're already working on something, it's not actually taking any extra time really, apart from putting a video on a tripod. That's all you've got to do. And, another thing you could do is you could ask your audience for feedback on the painting. So we all ask ourselves that question, don't we? When do I know if this painting is finished? Is it finished yet? Should I work on it anymore? Well, that's another thing you can say to your audience, is it finished? What do you think? Just silly things like that. Again, it's engagement, isn't it?
Yes, sorry.
Mic's gone.
Didn't realise you were waiting for input from me there. Sorry.
Yeah. So yes, basically that was all I had for that.
Sorry about that. Do you know what? I've done that for choosing which piece of art to put up digitally next. So I've like shown maybe 4 or 6 pieces of art and say, which is your favourite? Which shall I put up next?
Yeah. And
that's really good because you don't always pick the one that other people pick.
Well, you never pick the one other people pick.
Well, sometimes I do, but sometimes no. I'm like, what? Why do you like that one? Anyway, you could create a time lapse of your process from start to finish. Now, this is something I do all the time now. I don't actually know if I do it in the best way because I just set mine up. So I'll have my camera hanging above where I work, so I'm working flat. And I just literally film the whole process. And then I take out stuff because I hairdryer mine to get it to dry quicker. So I take that out when I am. And I'm getting really quick at doing those, editing now. Yeah. It's amazing how much you speed up when you learn what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's also really good that you can look back and actually think, oh, that's how I did that bit. Because sometimes you do something and think, oh, I love the effect I got there.
Yeah.
Well, that way you can actually see how you got the effect. But I have seen people do time lapses different ways where they will kind of focus in on a little piece and then they'll skip, further ahead.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that works better. Now, I did try one. I tried to do one a bit differently, but actually my straight off time lapses worked better on social media. So I haven't done more of those, where you do.
Yeah.
So I did one where I started it and then I basically sprayed it with water and tipped it. So it dripped. So then I made her cry because it was a picture of a woman and then the water made it look like she was crying.
Yeah.
But it took me way longer and not many people watched it.
So it's interesting, isn't it? But you learn as you go, don't you, what people want and what people
You don't know till you try it.
No, of course not, no.
And I've used to shoot those images in a horizontal thing.
Yeah.
So I could use them on YouTube and stuff. But I've realised it's far better to shoot vertical because now even YouTube will let you put shorts on, which are vertical, quick videos.
Yeah.
So vertical's far more, I guess, prevalent now on social media. So another thing you could do is ask your audience, what is the story behind this piece? And there's someone who does this, I think, really well. She does it in our group sometimes. That's Eva Folkwell Simpson. You've seen the one she does, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
So she'll do these drawings. I think she just starts off with a few random lines and then she makes it into something. She's always people-based, but then she'll say, what's the story? And I know in her group...
She does TV ones as well, doesn't she? From clips from TV. Am I right?
Yeah, but they're not the
No, they're not these ones.
No, she does brilliant ones from the TV, but these are ones where I think she just starts off, creates some lines or some doodles,
and
then makes it into people doing something Or she'll ask people, you know, what's the story behind this piece? And people will suggest things. And it's a good way to get people talking.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I mean, also, it's like, you know, years ago there used to be comics, didn't there? Or little comic strips where the speech bubble would be empty and you had to add your own caption. I love things like that.
Did you? I hated things like that.
Oh, I loved it. I loved anything that made me use my imagination or create a story. I loved all that. Yeah, because I like storytelling, you see. So, okay, so you could also ask for ideas for a title for your latest piece. I mean, personally, I actually wouldn't do this myself because I'm very precious about my titles. I love coming up with titles for my stuff. But I know that there are an awful lot of artists out there that hate that part. They don't enjoy that part at all. And that's why you get so many pieces of work out on galleries saying still life with I don't know, skull or flower or whatever. And, oh, God, that drives me nuts. I just think, come on, use your imagination. But anyway, you can ask your audience for ideas. And I know that whenever I've seen posts like that, the comments are, you know, off the scale. People really enjoy that. And you could say, you know, the best one, I'll pick the best one sort of thing. And of course, everyone wants to be that person who chose the title, don't they?
I do that sometimes.
Yeah. What
I ask, what shall I title this?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm not bothered. When I do my work, sometimes I immediately get a title in my head. Yeah, or when I finish, I'll be scanning it and I need to call the scan something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, and then something will just pop in.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'll get something that's just like, I'm not that keen. So I quite like putting it out to people because often their ideas are better than mine.
Yeah, you get some really fun and imaginative answers as well.
Yeah.
From people. So, yeah, it's a really good idea to do that. You can also ask your audience to vote on a frame using one of those mock-up apps, which you introduced me to, Tara. Those apps are brilliant, aren't they? They're a great way to show your audience how your art might look framed on a wall if you had a really posh house with a grand piano and a beautiful silk, you know, sweeping curtains. No, they do have some more normal looking houses that you mock this art up. But you've done that before, haven't you? You've kind of put your art in a frame and...
I haven't asked which frame though. No.
And that's always a good idea. Although you see straight away, I would know which frame looked best. So I wouldn't want people to say the other one.
You're too precious, aren't you?
Much too precious. When it comes to framing and titling, yeah, I'm like, no, I have my idea and that's it. I'm sticking to it.
Well, I guess it's as well because you know you are going to put yours in a frame.
Yes.
If, like me, I'm not necessarily really going to put mine in a frame, or if I sell it, I'm not going to sell it framed. I'm just going to sell it as the piece.
Oh, yeah. Mind you saying that, I don't sell my art framed anymore.
Yeah.
I used to, and it was a pain in the bum because of postage and damage. That the frames are really sort of vulnerable in the mail. You know, the actual paintings aren't as much so, but the actual frames because of the corners and everything. So no, I don't do that anymore.
Another thing you do is create a really simple tutorial. This could be as simple as just showing a material in your hand with a bit of text next to it and then just briefly show how you used it. I mean, I did this once. It wasn't so much of a tutorial, but instead of just doing a straightforward time lapse of my work, I would show, okay, I've now got matte medium, a tube of matte medium in my hand, and I would just put it in my hand and show it to the camera.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mini tutorial time-lapsey type thing.
Yeah. And actually that sort of goes back to what we were saying, doesn't it, earlier, where if you've already got a piece on the go, you might as well take the little opportunity to say, oh, look, I'm using this and this is how I do it. Yeah. You could post the same piece of art in interesting ways. So it doesn't always have to be, you know, a boring face on crop shot of a painting, like I was saying earlier. And I've seen some really nice examples of this on Instagram. So, you know, you could show your work perhaps maybe on its easel or with your art tools. You know, sometimes you get those lovely head-on shots or face down shots of, you do it sometimes, don't you, where you lay your work out and you've got your pens laying next to it and maybe a cup of coffee, you know, all that sort of thing. You could show it maybe propped up on a dressed surface, like, I don't know, maybe with a plant and a cup of coffee and fairy lights. You know, there's so many different ways. And there's so many people on Instagram that are so good at this. They
are amazing, aren't they?
It's almost, the photograph is almost a work of art in itself, isn't it? But basically, it's showing the same thing, but over and over again, but in completely different context. It could be hanging on a wall. You could be holding it up. You know, I've done those before. I'm just holding up a painting. I've
seen people holding up to the sky. So they've obviously got nice fingernails, much better than mine. And they're holding it. So the sky's the background. That could be like, you know, blue clouds and
that's
not blue
cool.
clouds, blue sky and clouds. Yeah, that looks nice.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, maybe I should have done that with my Coke bottles.
Yeah.
If I still,
although it might be too similar, maybe.
Yeah, probably
need a bit of contrast.
Another thing you could do is to share how best to hang and display art in your home. So it's always great if you can show your piece displayed in like a real environment. So, you know, if you've got a wall with a picture on and you can just replace that with one that you're selling or something, it's always nice to see something up in a real room. The only thing is, obviously, you would want to make sure that it was the right backdrop, I guess, for that painting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A certain painting might look pretty bad if it was on really wild wallpaper or something, Austin Powers wallpaper, and you've got this classical looking painting. I don't know, but yeah, just. But if you have got a space like that, it's a great way of, you know.
Yeah, I've just had another idea. Actually, this is for you, really. But when you go to your framers and you're choosing a frame, another great bit of social media. If the framer will agree to you filming that, you could just film your hands and try and his hands. It's a guy, isn't it? Who does it?
It's a woman and a man.
Oh,
it's a married couple. Yeah,
show them holding different bits of frame against your painting.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, actually, I did ask when I went to pick up my prints recently. I asked if I could just do some footage. And but he said, "Oh no," he said, "not today. My studio is an absolute mess." He said, "If you'd have said before, I'd have given it a tidy up." This is my printer, the person who does all my prints, and he's got an amazing studio space, absolutely phenomenal. But no, he said it was far too untidy.
Oh,
but basically, it was a working area, so it's going to be, isn't it? You know? Yeah.
Another thing you could do is talk about your favourite art book. You could video yourself maybe flicking through some of the pages, or photograph a few of the pages and just talk over the top, or even just photograph some pages and put a bit of text about it below, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You could also make a post talking about the artists who inspire you. Maybe you could show shots of their work. And the good thing about that is you can also tag them. So if they don't know about you, they get to know you a little bit more as well. And hopefully they might even share that because you're talking about them.
Exactly. That's a really good idea, yeah.
I know you thought of it.
Okay, so you could also share your own favourite piece and talk about why you like it so much. So maybe there's a story behind it you could share. I don't know. Have you got a favourite piece, Tara, that you've ever created that you wouldn't get rid of?
No.
But if you did, you know, years ago I painted a pomegranate. A red pomegranate, and it was just nothing more than that, just sitting on a shelf. And I only painted it because I wanted something red to go in my kitchen. That was what it was about.
That's deep.
Very deep. But it's funny, I could never get rid of that piece, even though it's perfectly sellable, very sellable. And I can't, because Charlie, my son, every time he comes around in that kitchen, he keeps saying, "You know, I want that one day, right? When am I going to get that painting?" So at some point,
when I die.
Yeah. But at one point, I'm going to have to paint him a pomegranate. No, I think he just wants that particular one. So, so there's you could just share even fun stories like that. Do you know what I mean? I can't get rid of this because my son wants it.
Can you get pomegranates other colour than red?
I haven't seen them here.
Oh, it's just the way you said it was a red pomegranate.
Oh, well, yeah, no, you can get them where they're quite sort of greeny and then they've only got
right.
Yeah, no, they're just red.
Right.
You can share what you do when you're not creating. So it doesn't always have to be all about the art. People like to get to know the artist behind the art too. So maybe it might be a clip of you walking your dog. I've seen that before. Taking a break from the easel, perhaps. I recently made a video of myself cleaning my art studio, and I just did it on time, that time lapse, and that's the sort of thing people really like. But then I realised I videoed it in the wrong format, so I'd done it horizontally instead of. I thought, oh God, I can't use that. But that would have been a good one. But yeah, silly things like that.
You could go square. Can you cut it square?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I could.
And just make it a minute or less.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I guess so.
You could do a live Facebook question and answer Q&A. Now, I'm not sure if I'm brave enough for this yet. What about you?
Well, we keep saying about this, don't we, that we're going to do some Facebook
That'd be the
lives.
two of us, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to do it on my own.
No.
But if you're brave enough, yeah. Yeah.
I do like what Anna Zubarev does. Now, she was just on the podcast. Was it the previous episode? I'm not quite sure.
If it wasn't that one, it was the one before, but I think it was the previous episode, yeah.
It's about episode 114, something like that. And she does this thing on Instagram where her and another artist, they chat and draw. So you see her right at the beginning, but then you both see what they're both drawing and they're having a chat about art and what they do and stuff like that. And I think that's a really nice way to do things. Because at least then you've got another person to bounce off. And we could do something like that, couldn't we?
Yeah, we did say we'd quite like to do that. We had a couple of ideas about it, didn't we, of what we could do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
But I do need to grab my nails and I've chomped them again.
You've been on holiday. You haven't been stressed at all. You've got nothing to chomp about. You need to get some of that funny tasting nail varnish.
Yeah. Another great idea is collect testimonials about your art and share them to social media. Now, I never think to do this. I do this, well, we do this, don't we, for Kicking the Creatives when we get podcast reviews and really nice comments sometimes.
Yeah.
But for my own art, I forget to do this. And I've had messages on Instagram, and obviously you've just got to double check that they're okay with you sharing them. But yeah, I forget to do that.
On my old website, I used to have a page of testimonials. And then when I changed my website, I didn't think about it, and I think I've lost them all, which is a shame.
All right, you have to ask some more.
Yeah. You could also share your packing process, and this is something I really wish I'd done the other day when I was packing my painting to send to London. Oh my gosh, can you believe this? The day that we were meant to be taking, because originally that Mal Gallery thing, you were pre-selected, and anyone pre-selected was that they then had to take and deliver by hand their piece of art to the Mal Gallery. And the day that was meant to happen was the day the trains decided to go on strike. And I looked at this, and they were talking about it on the news, and they were saying they gave 2 dates where they were going to be on strike. And I looked at the dates, and sure enough, one of them was the date I was supposed to be going to London. So I thought, this isn't going to happen. I can't get it there. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. Anyway, I received an email, thank goodness, because they originally said they wouldn't accept anything that was posted. It had to be hand delivered. Don't know why, but anyway. So luckily I received an email a couple of days later from the Mal Gallery saying that we've decided that as the train strikes are going to be causing such chaos for everybody, we are allowing a limited number of art moving companies to deliver paintings on people's behalf. So they gave a list of these approved people. Yeah. And then what those approved people do is they then unpack the art and then deliver them to the Mal Gallery. So I thought, oh, that's brilliant. But there's only one that operates in my area. So I rang them up and they said, the only trouble is, because of the volume of people that are wanting this, because obviously we've got such short notice, we can't do any collections at all. So you've got to actually deliver the painting to us for us to then deliver to the Mal Gallery.
Right. So where were they then compared to you?
They're in Chelsea and London or Bristol. So I said, well, that's the thing though. I can't get to you because of the trains. Oh. So they said, no, you'll have to post them. So the ridiculous thing was I had to use a company that do not handle art at all to send to a company because they handle art.
Ridiculous.
To send to the mail gallery. I thought I might as well have just sent it directly to the mail gallery, because then I had to pay for the postage to get it to the art moving company and then pay them to deliver it to the mail, which just means it's double the cost to me. So, of course, I was thinking, I've got to send this through the Royal Mail. Luckily, it's not a big painting. I mean, it must have been a nightmare for anyone with massive paintings. But luckily, I had to, it was quite a small painting. So I had to just make sure I wrapped that thing so well. And I should have videoed that. I should have done that, which I didn't. But yeah, corner protectors and
everything.
more corner
protectors. I should have. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, I did get an email from the mail gallery on the Sunday saying, yes, thank you, it's delivered and everything's fine.
Oh, that's good.
So that's fine.
I wonder why they won't accept it via the post. I mean,
well, they don't want to unwrap anything. They want it
that's
delivered.
Why, is it? Oh, I see. The unwrapping's
They're
the
very
issue.
specific. You're not allowed to have any. It has to be flat backed. You can't have any hanging.
Right.
They do it all themselves.
Got you.
Yeah. So, but that would have been a good opportunity for me to do that, and I didn't. But never mind. Another thing you could do is actually offer advice on how to care for a piece of artwork, because oil paintings, they get dusty. Obviously watercolor paintings and that, they're usually behind glass, so there's not a problem. Or, acrylic paintings get dusty. The last thing you want to be doing is using detergent on an oil painting to clean it. So, that's another thing you could do, is just offer advice on how to actually care for something like that. Studio tips, we talked about that earlier, weren't we? Like how to clean your brushes, for example, that kind of thing. How to, get oil paint out of your clothes even. That kind of stuff,
God, I've constantly how to get charcoal and paint off your face.
I'd like to know how you get phthalo blue off of your nails and your skin. I won't use phthalo blue. I think it's an amazing colour, but my God, is it staining? It's the most staining colour on my in my paint tubes that I have. And if I ever have to use it, I hate using it. Because I never fail to get it all over me, and it just does not come off for days. It's awful
admit,
stuff.
I've got some acrylic ink on my nail, one of my almost non-existing nails, that's not coming off very well.
Oh no!
but I am bad for charcoal. It's like I won't know, and then Kevin goes, "You got black all over your face."
Yeah, you got green hair.
Yeah, and I told you I got white all over my computer mouse. White acrylic paint.
Oh, it's a sign of a working studio,
Is that what it is? Is that what the dust is as well?
Yeah, because you've got not enough time to clean because you're too busy creating.
That's right. Yeah, I'll take that. Another thing you can do is be vulnerable about your process and your life as your artist. Now, you could talk about the things that go wrong or how you're feeling if you have a slump. I think we all have slumps, and maybe your plans to get out of a slump, because I think you don't want to show things too much for downer. You want to be vulnerable, but you want to show how you're going to get through that, don't you?
You want to keep it real, don't you? Because we've always spoken about this before, haven't we? Where you kind of look on social media and you just think, oh, these artists, their work just falls off their brush and they're just so prolific and it's painting after painting and everything's perfect. You can guarantee it isn't like that.
No, I actually said that. There's an artist called Rosso on Twitter. I can't remember her last name. Oh, can you remember Rosso's name?
No.
Anyway, she's a blooming genius at painting kind of portraits, but they're very funky and modern.
Yeah.
And she posted, and she's brilliant at these as well, she posted this time lapse of her creating one of these pieces, but it wasn't literally every second time lapse. It was one of those, where you show key parts of it.
Yeah.
And I just texted and said, oh my God, you make this look so easy. And she goes, oh yeah, that's because I took out the bit where I dropped all my brushes and where I had to go out for emergency cake.
Yeah.
I thought it was genius, because it does look like it's so easy, doesn't it?
That's the thing about social media, though, isn't it? So
yeah.
I think that's why it's important to be vulnerable and to share sometimes the things that do go wrong, because people can more relate to you when you're like that, because you're being real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
we could edit the pants off of this podcast and make us sound half sensible, like we know what we're talking about. If I spent long enough on it,
it'd be 10 minutes long though, wouldn't it?
But purposely from the beginning, I thought, we can't compete with BBC Radio. That's not, we can't. We're not professional media people. We're just chatting about art. And, people that enjoy talking about art or listening, listen. But if we were to make this all perfect, again, it's not really being real, is it? Because, in fact, I think that's why we purposely, from day one, we've always put, if there is a blooper, it's always gone on the end, because we're like, no, this is real. This is what things like this happen. Sometimes we go wrong,
Quite often. Yeah, but on the flip side of showing the vulnerable side, I think it doesn't hurt to show a bit of humour as well. And I think sometimes this is lacking, isn't it, in the art? Yeah. It's like had to be so blooming professional.
Oh God, yeah. No, I'm totally opposite to that. I like a humour. I like humour because at the end of the day, especially, I think, especially at the moment with everything going on in the world, everyone needs to have a bit of light refreshment from it all and a bit of humour. Gosh, it's great medicine, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've made videos. I made one about being an uncool artist. I don't know if you saw that one, but basically I just said,
oh yeah,
yeah, how uncool I was. And I think I showed my sponge brushes and kiddie tools. And then I showed me turning around with charcoal over my face, like I was just talking about, because I've always got over. And then I made one about, I think I said before, about the non-sexy clothes that I wear, because you get some artists on social media and they've got like their low cut tops and they look so beautiful, and I've got chewed trainers and an old fleece. So basically do the vulnerable side, but also do a bit of humour if you can. You could also hang your art in a local gallery if they'll let you, or a coffee shop, and take photos of it in there, because that's quite a nice environment, isn't it, to show your work in?
Yeah, I obviously know a few sort of pubs around me, and I know that in the past I've been able to hang some of my alcohol-related paintings in the pubs, and it is a great way. It's a great way to share your work. The only problem is you do have to be a little bit careful, because you want to know that that's going to be looked after.
Yeah, I'd be slightly worried about that. But I was thinking, actually, so you meant to share as in for people to get to see it in the pub, didn't you?
Yeah.
I was thinking, if someone had got a really nice environment, you could perhaps, if you knew them, ask if you could just hang one temporarily to take a photo as well.
That's a good idea. Yeah, just if someone has got this like amazing house or whatever, where they've got just everything, I don't know, a beautiful blank wall. Yeah, you could say, can I just come and do a photo shoot?
Yeah,
brilliant.
Exactly.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And do you know what? It doesn't even have to be all about social media. Like you say, you've got to share it on social media, but there are other places, cafes, pubs, galleries. Just make sure, like I say, you actually trust them to look after it.
Yeah.
But another thing you can do is to have, and this isn't social media related, well, kind of is, but have a newsletter that people can sign up for. And that is a really good way of people being updated on new work, reminding people you're still creating art. But just be careful, because, I do one, I used to call it my quarterly cuppa, but actually I don't actually do it quarterly. It's probably less than that, really. But it's just my way of being able to, perhaps the lead up to Christmas or the summer, I'll say, okay, this is my latest work, and I talk a bit about it and talk about what I've been up to. But I don't bombard them with sales. A lot of newsletters do, don't they? Our newsletter, I think, is really good, because we just tell you all of the challenges coming up for the month coming up, don't we? And and then in the middle of the month, we do one where we'll send you some handy videos that relate to perhaps the challenges, and we'll link to perhaps some really good podcast episodes that we've done previously, and things like that. But it's not sell stuff, is it?
No,
And
we don't do those follow-up, where you send an email, then it's follow-up like a day later and then, day later.
It's relevant. So if you're going to have an email newsletter, just keep everything relevant. Don't just use it as a way of selling. Use it as a way of engaging with those people. Invite them to, write you back.
I guess the overall advice is to just start sharing and see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're now going to read out the answers to our previous question. And that question was, if you could feature in a famous painting, which would it be and why?
Okay, so I've got Spirit Grind. I'd like to be lingering in the background of a Sunday afternoon on the island of Le Grand Jatte. Is that how it's said? But doing something weirdly modern, like hunching over my phone.
I've got Radius Lotus Fine Art, The School of Athens by Raphael. Presumably, I'll be able to speak and understand all of the ancient languages, the mathematicians, philosophers, and the scientists that spoke then.
I've got P.M. Schmidl, but I hope I've said that right. P.M. Schmidl. It's a hard choice, but I'm thinking American Gothic. They just seem like a fun family.
Oh, hilarious.
Oh, my goodness. I can't imagine a less fun-looking family, because is that not the one where the guy's holding a fork-like thing?
Yes, like a scythe or something.
And he looks...
yeah.
They look like a family of serial killers to me.
Yeah, that's what she's joking.
A fun family. That's so funny. Yeah.
And then I've got Hilary Milner, and she says, Dali, I love his surrealist abstract work, a person after my own heart.
Oh, yeah. Andy W. Art, much as I would like to be painted photobombing a portrait of Donald Trump, I think a more serious answer would be to be painted in one of Arthur Rackham's illustrations, snoozing under a tree, surrounded by woodland spirits and sprites. The world is a better place when napping under a tree away from civilization. Oh, yeah. I love the idea of napping under a tree, but you can guarantee I'd get like ants crawling up my nose and in my ears or something like that, and it would ruin the whole experience.
Yeah, but you can make your own place, can't you, in a painting?
I did once have a nap in a field, and I was woken up by a cow.
Why did you have a nap in a field?
Because we're going back years when me and my friend were teenagers, and we were skiving off of school. So we took a blanket, we skived off of school, and we were just laying in the grass, listening to our music, that kind of thing. Yeah. This was on the days where it was easy to skive off of school. And I just remember we fell asleep in the end. It was a really sunny day. It was a beautiful day, which is why we were skiving. And suddenly got woken up by a cow mooing. And my God, I've never been so frightened in my whole life. I literally woke up and there's this cow staring over my face. It's the scariest thing ever. But yeah. So
I take it didn't hurt you, the cow?
No, it's just curious. Yeah. It wasn't a herd, thank God. Can you imagine?
God, yes, I can. They are scary, and there's a lot of them, isn't there?
I have been chased by a herd of cows as well, by the way. Yeah. I'm scared of cows, so.
I've got Jo Brown, and she says, I'd like to be one of Modigliani's ladies. Yeah. Modigliani's ladies, just so I could sit and look at him while he was painting me. She's obviously got the hot for Modigliani.
I say, because are they not normally nude? I know they're normally got quite a lot.
No.
Like black
I checked that.
Oh, did you? Oh, I
thought Jo wants to be naked.
I was going to say.
Modigliani.
Yeah. Who have we got? Kim Hollenby, A Night at Follies Bergère.
Bergère, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm trying to do my French accent. In my prime, all that champers and fun.
I've got Nina Mier, and she says, any work by Alphonse Mouchard. He made every woman look like a dainty fairy or a fierce queen. Being depicted by a floral framework with hair and fabric flowing free. Some adorned stars. Art Nouveau dreams come true. Swoon.
Margaret Gray, I would love to show up in an impressionist painting. Now, is this meant to say AKA? Andy, further up that you've just read out, he said something similar. Okay. Oh, yeah, like Andy. Yeah, photobombing some lovely ladies in 1880s clothing. Oh, I get that now. I didn't get that.
He was talking about photobombing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then I've got Michael Beckett, and he says, I think I'd be the shadowy figure on the left in Edward Hawke's Night Edward Hopper's Nighthawks. I've always felt like that kind of outsider.
And that is one of my favourite paintings. I love that painting.
I had to go and have a look at it because I hadn't seen it.
I really like it. And I don't know what it is about that painting, but I really enjoy it. And I kind of try and narrate my own story to it. Yeah, and I'd go in there and wonder what everyone was doing and who, why are they there? Who are they meeting? Yeah. Anyway, I have got Rosalie Dooligal, A Girl with the Pearl Earring by Vermeer. Nice simple answer. Yeah, lovely. I've seen a lot of people actually doing these like famous paintings and just having a different face in the painting. And recently I saw a dog as the girl with the pearl earring, which I thought was quite quirky. Okay, so we have a brand new question for you, which is, if you could change your artist name to something else, what would it be and why? So if you could change your artist name to something else, what would it be and why? So I guess it would have to be something quite memorable, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you're talking almost like a pen name that authors have, yeah?
Yeah.
And I've no idea, so don't ask me because I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. I didn't even know it's your question, actually, when I was printing this out. So, no, I've no clue. So, as always, if you can think of a good answer, unlike me, you can tweet your answer to Kick Creatives or let us know in the Facebook group, which if you haven't joined, I would highly suggest you do. We'll put the question up there and on the Facebook page and, of course, on our Instagram, which is Kick in the Creatives.
So we hope that gave you the kick in the creatives you needed. And don't forget to pop over to our website at kickinthecreatives.com to find out how you can take part in some of our upcoming creative challenges. And, of course, there you can also subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we'd be really grateful if you would leave us maybe a little review or even just a star rating if you haven't got much time.
Yeah, we really do need some of those reviews. We're really missing them at the moment.
Yes.
So also don't forget to check out and subscribe to our Kick in the Creatives newsletter and keep up with all the challenges and podcasts.
And if you enjoy what we do and you'd like to help support us here at Kick in the Creatives, because we do everything for free, you can now support us by buying us a coffee. I think we deserve a coffee. And you can find the link to that on our website. And thank you to everyone who does support us. We really, really appreciate it. And if you can't do that, other ways you can support us is by sharing episodes, that kind of thing. So, just spread the word. Anyway, That is it for this time, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you did, perhaps you'd like to share it and leave a review for us on iTunes. Back soon.
I've got a load of paintings at the moment all on my desk, and some I definitely don't like. And one of them, probably shouldn't say this out loud. I have told Kevin this. I says, I don't like that one. It looks like your mother.
Oh no, she doesn't listen to this podcast, does she?
She doesn't.
That's so funny.
I hope she doesn't anyway.
Maybe I should edit that bit out.
But it's a bleeper right at the end.
Yeah,
she won't bother listening to that bit, will she?
Oh dear.